The two stepping vessels harmonize left and right, medial lateral structures of the yin and yang respectively, and can therefore be used to correct structural imbalances in the body, such as one leg shorter than the other, one scapula higher than the other, unilateral sweating, or the muscles on one side being tighter than the other. One indication of kidney 2, Rangu, is 1 foot hot and the other cold. Yin and yang Wei Mai. The yang and yin linking vessels complement each other insofar as that they link yin and yang channels. In addition, their opening points belong to the lesser yang and terminal yin channels, the triple burner and pericardium, respectively, which are internally and externally related. And we will go over all that in Zongfu theory, I promise. The two linking vessels harmonize interior, exterior, and nutritive qi and defensive qi. And then Daimai, our girdle vessel, stands on its own as it is the only horizontal channel of the body, like I said, the hula hoop. It encircles the main channels, and because of this, it exerts an influence on the circulation of qi to the legs, dividing the body into two halves. It harmonizes above and below. Thus, the extraordinary vessels form an energetic vortex of the whole body that develops from the kidneys, in much the same way as the embryo develops along a central axis. The moment a sperm enters the ovum, it determines a ventral and dorsal surface, which are the directing and governing vessels respectively. When the cell first divides, it determines a left and right side, which are the yin and yang stepping vessels, an above and below, penetrating and girdle vessels, an exterior and exterior, yin and yang linking vessels, and a front and back, directing and governing, Du and Ren Mai. Thus, far from being secondary vessels, the extraordinary vessels are the primary energetic forces along which the whole system, or the whole body, and the other channels are formed. It is for this reason that Lu Shizhen called them the source of creation. The extraordinary vessels form like a vortex of energy emanating from the center of the body, from the space between the kidneys, where the motive force, Dong Qi, resides. The penetrating vessel is the center of this energetic force, Chong Mai, as it is also the sea of the 5 yin and 6 yang organs, the sea of blood, and the sea of the 12 channels, the meaning of which will be explained in chapter 53. So we're going to make a second video on all of the more medical, pathological. This is just the introduction, believe it or not. And it starts from between the kidneys. That is Chong. The qi and blood of the Chong Mai are then distributed all over the body in small channels at the defensive qi energetic level. When its qi reaches kidney 6, kidney 9, bladder 62, bladder 63, and gallbladder 26, it gives rise to the yin stepping vessel, yin linking vessel, yang stepping vessel, and yang linking vessel, and Daimai girdle, respectively. Thus, the penetrating vessel can be seen as the origin of these 5 extraordinary organs. Chong Mai, that is. The Du and Ren Mai vessels determine and define the coronal plane of the body. The girdle vessel defines the transverse, the yang step and link, and the yang stepping and linking vessels define the sagittal plane. And in ancient texts, the extraordinary vessels were often compared to a family nucleus as follows, taken from the Great Compendium of Acupuncture, 1601. Father, Chong; mother, Inwei; husband, Du; wife, Yong Chao; son, Yongwei; daughter, Dai Mai; host, Ren Mai; guest, In Chao. And do bear in mind, says Giovanni, that the Confucian social customs prevalent in China at the time, being the father, the penetrating vessel, the center of the family nucleus, therefore the most important of the 8 extraordinary vessels, the vortex of qi created by the extraordinary vessels, and the Chong Mai, the penetrating vessel, is at the center of it. So to review, we have Du and Ren Mai, front and back; Chong Mai, Chong and Dai Mai, vertical and horizontal; yin and yang stepping vessels, medial and lateral, and left and right; one of the yin, the other of the yang; yin and yang linking vessels, interior and exterior; yin and yang nutritive and defensive qi. The yang linking vessel controls the exterior, heaven; yang linking vessel, Yin linking vessel controls the interior earth. Yang stepping vessel controls the left, right of Yang, east. Yin stepping vessel controls the left, right of Yin, west. Governing vessel controls the back, Yang, south. Directing penetrating vessels control front, in, north. Girdle vessel binds. And you can see like how I will always draw them how it always kind of looks like an atom with the electrons going around it. The extraordinary vessels can be grouped in two different ways as described above according to their opening and coupled points. They can be arranged into 4 pairs of vessels at the same polarity. So I'm going to skip over the points and how to use them because I'm going to go into detail on that in the opening and closing points and how to use them. And I'm going to go into detail on that in the second part 2. There's going to be 3 parts to extraordinary vessels. And here I'm just going to finish off the introduction with when to use an extraordinary vessel. And Giovanni states that the guidelines given for choosing to use extraordinary vessels would be in problems of internal organs or in channel problems. For example, if a patient suffers from liver qi stagnation, we can use points on the liver main channel and we do not need to use the extraordinary vessel. But if a patient suffers from straightforward, if they're suffering from a straightforward channel problem, along with a particular channel, we may use main channel. But if there are many situations when the extraordinary vessel is indicated, and they would be like several channels of problems of several channels simultaneously, complicated conditions, involvement of an internal organ with a different channel, confusing situations of heat and cold, deficiency and excess, some mental problems, some neurological problems, or when the pulse has the same quality in several positions. So to use an extraordinary vessel would be in problems of several channels simultaneously, in complicated conditions, when there's an involvement of an organ and a different channel, in confusing situations of heat and cold and fullness and emptiness, and in some mental problems, some neurological problems, and when the pulse has the quality in different positions.